Hello there, friends. It is Jimmy Maverick, and we are going to do a mock draft right now. Tomorrow is National Draft Day, and I'm very excited about that. I got my first draft happening for reals, but I'm going to just show you how my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, is going to help you pick an awesome team this fantasy season. Today, we are picking 11th in a 12-team fantasy league, half-point PPR on Yahoo. So I'm going to show you how my app works and how it's going to help you find the best players and draft the best team possible, regardless of your draft position. So first of all, this is my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft. You can get it through my website, ffmaverick.com, right there. And when you log in, you have to answer 3 questions, all right? The first question is, how's your league score points? As I said, this is a half-point PPR league. And then do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? I always say yes to this. And then you can always go into the player filter, which is located right here, and make adjustments later if you want. But it's a great first place to start because it eliminates the highest risk players. And then we are going to enter draft mode. So all you have to do is enter the size of your league. And this is a 12-team league. And then we have to put in our draft position, which is 11. We'll go ahead and we'll enter draft mode. Now let's see here. This should be loading up. Draft board is loading. And so let me give you a quick tour of what it looks like. So obviously you got the list of players right here. And here you've got position filters. So if you want to look at a specific position to see what options are available, that's the best way to do it. When we are in the app, we're going to be primarily looking at 4 columns, okay? The first one is the value column over here. This is calculated. It's based off the way your league scores points and the projected stats for each player. And then once it calculates that number, the projected points, it assigns a value to the player. And you can compare that against the player's draft position to see if they're undervalued or overvalued. Of course, you want undervalued players as much as possible. We also have the outlook ranking, which is a scale of 1 to 5 stars. 5 is best, and this is calculated based on intangibles, criteria, situations about the player. And if you want to see, okay, why does Julio Jones have 4 stars? Well, you just click on Julio Jones. It's going to open up a lot of additional information about him. But down here, you'll see positive criteria and negative criteria about that player. So for Julio Jones, high reliability, elite wide receiver volume, and then, but negative criteria is he gets a downside too, and I say right here, because of his inconsistent production and his lack of touchdowns, basically. But it doesn't matter because he still gets 4 stars, right? Let's see how we're doing here. It's still loading up. Then over on the far end here, we've got the consistency and reliability rankings. Consistency is a scale of 1 to 10. You want as close to 10 as possible. Reliability, you want high reliable players as much as possible. I do consider mid-reliability players still a good choice. I stay away from low reliability players. So that's what we're going to use to decide on who the best player is. And as you can see, these have popped up. This is draft mode. So what this is showing is every round of the draft, and because we're the second to last pick, 11th out of 12, it just combines our picks because it's such a quick turnaround between our choices. So, all right, the board is up. It's going to start in 6 seconds. So we want to look at who's the top pick for the first round. You can see that Julio Jones in half-point PPR offers the best value. Now, I personally, this season, I'm taking a running back first regardless because even though I might not get Julio Jones or Odell, I'm still going to get an excellent wide receiver in round 2 if that's the way I want to go. If I take the wide receiver first, by the time it comes back to me in round 2, most, if not all, of the elite running backs are going to be gone. All right, that's just something I've encountered every single draft I'm doing. I'm seeing this. So if we look down below it, Dalvin Cook offers the best value as far as running backs goes, but he has low reliability, obviously, because he was injured last year, so I don't like that. But right below him is the guy who I want. I want Melvin Gordon. Now, his expected draft position is 9, so we'll see if he falls to us. But you can see here, good value, 5 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. That's the perfect kind of player to get. Now, we may or may not get him. He is still on the board. It's coming to us within 3 picks. But for our second pick, again, if Julio or Odell are still on the board, I'll take them. But I love Michael Thomas as our first wide receiver. 5 stars, good value, 10 out of 10, high. That's the kind of player that you want. So if things go my way, I'll get both of them. So let's see what happens here. We still have 2 more picks, and people are thinking hard. Okay, we got Fournette was taken. That's very common. Kareem Hunt is still available, but look at that. Melvin Gordon is still available, so I will take him. And now let's see what Martin does with his 2 picks in a row, and that'll be us again. And hopefully we will get Michael Thomas, and I think that's probably what will happen. Oh, no, he took Michael Thomas. But look, Julio Jones is still available. As a second-round pick, Julio is gold. I love him in the second round. Again, his consistency is an issue, but shoot, who else is going to get 1,400 yards as a floor this season? I mean, there's not that many. There's like 3. So I will take Julio happily. And what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the second round. So, the third round. So once we're done with this, we then click on for our third and fourth round picks, and let's see who's available, right? So for the third and fourth round, the highest value pick available is T.Y. Hilton. Now, I do love T.Y. Hilton now that Andrew Luck is back and playing football. So that's very encouraging, and he's a great player to have. Look, he's got 4 out of 5 stars on Outlook, 9 out of 10 consistency, high reliability. That's the kind of player that you want. I guess the big question with T.Y. is how much do you trust Andrew Luck? And I just like to say that a few years back, there was a player named Peyton Manning who had major neck surgery that they thought was a career-ending surgery that he had. They thought he'd never be back. And he came back, and the year after he had that surgery, he played on the Broncos, and then he threw 55 touchdowns, right? And you remember that year. That wasn't that long ago. So I think he would be a fine choice for our second wide receiver. You would also see there's Demaryius Thomas, who I don't particularly like just because of his age and the fact that his usage has been declining in each of the past 3 seasons. But below him, look at this, Royce Freeman. Now this is a running back that I very, very much like. Pair him up with Melvin Gordon each week, I think is solid. I would absolutely take him as our running back. Juju Smith-Schuster obviously has some tremendous upside, but not as strong as you might think for reliability, consistency, outlook ranking. I think he's probably a little bit higher than he should be on the draft boards. But look, we got Golden Tate, Kenyon Drake, should Royce Freeman get taken, Derrick Henry. Those are both, I think, good choices. I think I prefer Derrick. So I think we'll do for our third round, we'll take another running back. I would go Royce, Henry, Drake as my choices, all right? And then for wide receivers, I think I would definitely take T.Y. Hilton, and Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, just because I can't pass up the upside of Juju. But let's see what happens here. And so you can see it's still 9 picks till our turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause till we're within 3, and we'll figure out where we're at. All right, so we are closing in on my next pick. You can see T.Y. Hilton is still sitting here at the top of the list. He just got taken. But I do see, let's see here, Royce is still out there. You can see he's down here. And you know what? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little change of plans. Look, we already got Julio. We're totally set with wide receiver. I really want to load up on some quality running backs. And so, like I said, Derrick Henry was my second pick. Royce Freeman is my first. Royce is way farther down the list. I'm going to take Henry first here just because I don't want him getting picked out from under me. And then we'll take Royce with our next pick. Unless Martin takes it, which I hope will not happen. So let's see. Yeah, great. So we're golden. All right. So we got awesome running back core. I am very happy right now. We got Melvin Gordon, Derrick Henry, and Royce Freeman as our 3 running backs plus Julio. This team's looking really solid right now. I'm liking how this is going. So let's go to the next round. Let's see who's available. Who's the best pick? Now, I always kind of start to look at tight ends here to see who's available. And again, this is where the position filters can come in handy. What filters? Well, of course, there's Greg Olsen right at the top of the list, right? But, so he's really the only tight end right now that's being taken in this round that we would be interested in. So a couple others are in there, but they've been filtered out with Jimmy's recommended filters because of injury issues and such. So if we wanted to take Greg Olsen, this next round is going to be the round to take him. If we wait, who's still available? Well, if we go out, there's David Njoku, who I'm not particularly thrilled with. Jack Doyle, I do like, and Trey Burton should also be available. There's a bunch of tight ends available when you get to the 11th and 12th round. But if we wanted to be safe, we could take Greg Olsen. But let's see who else is available. Let's look at our wide receivers. Let's see what we have there. So right at the top of the list, you got Robert Woods, who I think would be a fine choice. I really like his rapport with Jared Goff on the Rams. Look, he's got good value, 4 out of 5 stars, 8 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability. So that's not that great. We got some really nice options here. You got Devin Funchess right below, just a little bit less volume, but value, 4 out of 5 stars, 6 out of 10 consistency, high reliability, and this gold dollar means it's a contract year for him. Same with Jamison Crowder, who I actually really like. I think he would be probably my top choice just because high reliability, 7 out of 10 consistency, 5 stars, contract year. His value's a little poor. He's getting picked a little bit earlier than he should, but still I think he's a solid choice. Robbie Anderson's here. Look, it's Marquise Goodwin. Well, he's not as good, but Robbie Anderson's great. So we got lots of options. We could also look at running backs, although we really don't need to take another running back right now. Mark Ingram would be a great grab as our 4th running back. That would if he is still available, I would probably consider that. But we have some good options here. I like these options here. I do like the idea. Oh, sorry, I just clicked the next round. I do like the idea of maybe going wide receiver and tight end. So let's, here we got 7 picks. I'm going to possibly get within 3. Let's see what we want to do. All right, so we are back, and it is just closing in on our next pick. So we got Greg Olsen here. What's happening here? There's Greg Olsen. All right, so I'm going to cue him. And you see here's Jamison Crowder. There's Robert Woods, a bunch of guys there. Oh, no, look at that. Someone just took Greg Olsen right out from under me right before my pick. Oh, it happens every single draft. I don't really want Evan Engram. So I think what we're going to do is let's go ahead. I'm going to take Jamison Crowder as my 2nd. And then, let's look at what other tight ends are sitting here, where they're at. Geez, I just don't want Jimmy Graham. See, Trey Burton is kind of like what I would take now that we're in that boat. Let's look at the running backs, because if Ingram is still available, it looks like Ingram is gone too. All right, so we are going to go ahead and take. We're going to take a 2nd wide receiver. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to take Robert Woods. All right, so that round didn't go real great. Got picked out a couple of key picks before it got to me, which happens. It's fantasy football. You got to be used to that. That's why you always have multiple options on each round. So let's jump back to the app. Let's go to the 7th and 8th round. Let's see who's available. So we are now looking at, you can see it's starting to thin out, right? The stars aren't quite as bulky as they have been, and that's going to continue to thin out as we get farther into the draft. You can see here that the top value choices on this round do not have great outlooks. Pierre Garçon, Emmanuel Sanders, I'm just really not interested in taking them. Cooper Kupp, we already took a Ram, so we don't need to take, I would not take a 2nd Ram here, especially wide receiver. You can see here that some defenses are starting to come off the board. You got quarterbacks coming off the board. I got to say, I have typically been waiting till round 10 to take my quarterback because there's great options that late. And I just spent all these early rounds just grabbing running backs and wide receivers. So let's filter here because this is a crowded list here. Let's see who's available running back wise. Now, here's someone that I like, Tariq Cohen, all right? 5-star rating. His value is, I would call this fair value because he's within 10 points of his expected draft position. High reliability. His consistency isn't great, but his consistency is based off of last season, which was a different coach, John Fox. Now we have Matt Nagy, who was the offensive coordinator at Kansas City and is the one that made Tyreek Hill the phenomenon that he is. And I think he's going to do the same with Tariq. They've been using him all over the field this preseason. I really like his usage, so he is absolutely going to be my 4th running back that we're going to take on the next round. Now let's look at wide receivers and see what's there. Robbie Anderson. Now that's another good choice. Now look, he's what I consider fair value, but 5 stars, contract year, high reliability. Consistency is not great, but not so poor that I would exclude him. So I like the idea of Robbie Anderson and Tariq Cohen with our next 2 picks. Let's see here on the tight ends. Again, it was just David Njoku, who I don't want anything with. I just don't want any Cleveland players. I just don't. And you understand why, right? I mean, I'm just not seeing upside. Even for Jarvis. Jarvis would be like maybe the only guy I would consider, but I'm not going to bother. And if something happens, I'll pick him up off of waivers. There's going to be Cleveland people on waivers. So I think those are great choices. If somehow somebody else gets picked, we do have like Peyton Barber, who would probably be a decent choice. C.J. Anderson. These guys are decent late pickups, and again, they would be our 4th running back, so they're pretty good. So anyway, I will wait till we're within 3, and we will see what we got. All right, and we are just waiting for it to come back to us. Just 3 picks here. So we're going to look and see who is available. So you can see Robbie Anderson's right there. Hopefully he won't get picked before it gets to us. And it's looking good. Maybe. All right, Robbie Anderson is available. So we'll go ahead and we'll grab Robbie. So that's our 4th. That is our 4th wide receiver. So we've got a pretty nice core going on here. And like I said, I wanted to get oh boy, you know what? We're getting really late here. I gotta look at the tight ends. Wow, look at that. All right. All my tight ends are getting picked out from under me. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to get Tariq. Oh, and he was taken. Oh, I can't believe it. All right, so who's still available here? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Marshawn Lynch. Again, it's just our 4th running back. I think he's going to get decent volume. And I think with our next pick, let's definitely grab a tight end. We definitely need to take one. That's what happens when you wait too long, right? It just kind of falls to the back. But we got a great set of running backs and wide receivers right now. I'm really happy with how those turned out. Oh, look, it's the 9th and 10th round. So let's go. We'll get a tight end, and then we'll get ourselves a quarterback. So let's take a look at, first of all, what tight ends are available. And Jack Doyle, again, is the guy that I like. He's going to get the volume. That's the thing that's important, right? I mean, last season, he had 108 targets, all right? And that was with a backup quarterback. Now he's got Andrew Luck. I'm very confident he's going to be a solid choice this year. So great choice for this round. And then as far as quarterbacks go, let's take a look here. You can see a ton. I mean, just great quarterbacks, man. Andrew Luck, if you're not weary at all about his injury issues. Patrick Mahomes, huge upside. Matt Ryan is always a solid player. Marcus Mariota is a great player. I love Marcus Mariota this season. Jared Goff, again, rock solid option, and we could pair him up because we got Robert Woods too. That might be a good idea as well. I think if I looked at all these, I would probably go Mariota first. Because with Luck, I would have to take a backup. I don't want to take a backup. And Mahomes is close, right? I mean, you totally take a chance on Mahomes. But let's see what happens. So it's still plenty of picks on our next turn. I'm going to pause so we're within 3, and we'll figure out what we're going to do. All right, so we're closing in on our next pick. You can see that Roethlisberger was just taken, so I'm not really worried about that. But Jack Doyle's still sitting here, and we will take him first, and then we will go ahead and go to our quarterbacks. And, oh, look, Phillip Rivers is still sitting here. I got to tell you, if Rivers is still available, he's my go-to guy. I'm going to take him. See what Martin does with his next pick. But see, Luck, Mahomes, Ryan, Mariota. I mean, again, just wait on a quarterback. You totally don't need to take one early. So we will take Rivers. So let's kind of review right now. We got a little bit of time before our next pick, but so Rivers is our quarterback. We got Julio Jones, Jamison Crowder, Robert Woods, and Robbie Anderson as our wide receivers. We've got Melvin Gordon, Derrick Henry, Royce Freeman, and Marshawn Lynch as our running backs, and our tight end is Jack Doyle. So all in all, I like this team a lot. I mean, I would like to be stronger at tight end, but unfortunately we had our picks picked out from under us right before it happened. So you just got to roll with it. You got to take what happens, and who knows, there could maybe be another tight end that emerges this season like Ingram did last season. We'll see. But let's look at the next round. Let's see what we're just going to continue stocking up on running backs and wide receivers. So that's what we're looking at. So let's see who's available. So again, top value player of this round is Randall Cobb, offering very nice value relative to his draft position, right? But he only has a 3-star outlook, high reliability, but terrible consistency. That's been an issue with Randall Cobb ever since he had that big year back in 2014. You got players like Marquise Lee, who, again, okay outlook, but, consistency is just not good enough for me to want to consider him. But down here, look, Rashard Matthews, again, great value. 5-star outlook, 7 out of 10 consistency, medium reliability, playing on Tennessee. I think he would be a great choice as our 5th wide receiver. And then let's look at the running backs here. Let's see who's out there. Okay, not great options top to bottom. Every single one is a 1-star player. We could certainly hope that Marlon Mack offers the kind of volume that he could get, although I'm not sure if he's going to be usurped by Jordan Wilkins down here, who, again, offers terrible value right now based on just what he's projected to get. Marlon Mack is still projected to get the lion's share of the carries in the backfield, but he's been injured, right? So we haven't been able to make a determination. We could go with another old running back, go Adrian Peterson, who just got picked up by Washington, but I don't know about that. Bilal Powell maybe, but again, there's not really great options for running back this round. So let's see if there's maybe we go 2 wide receivers this round and see what happens. And we can also see if there's any wide receivers that kind of got left behind, that might offer some value. And you can see outside of, so maybe Matthews and Cobb, that'd be a great pair to get. I think that would be rock solid. The rest of these guys just don't really interest me at all. And maybe Anthony Miller. Yeah, I think I would probably take Anthony Miller, even though he only has a 2-star outlook. But he's getting lots of great buzz in Chicago, fair value, and he's a rookie. So and look at where we're at in the draft. If he doesn't work out, it's not really going to hurt us. So I would say Matthews and Miller, Cobb would be our 3rd choice. So we have 8 picks till our next turn. I'm going to go ahead and pause this till we get within 3. Okay, and we're back, and we have some intriguing options that we need to consider. We have Kenny Stills available from Miami, and if we look on my app, he should have gone in the prior round, but he is an excellent choice, 4-star, good value, even better now that it's even later, high reliability, bad consistency, but frankly, I think he's good enough to take. And then as far as running backs goes, there was a very interesting option. Let's see if he's still there. We must have been taken. So I think Kenny Stills we will absolutely take. And let's see here. There he is. So we'll just wait for Mike to finish his selecting. And Kenny Stills is in a great situation in Miami because Devontae Parker isn't even playing right now. He's injured. So let's go ahead and we'll take Kenny Stills. And, boy, I really would like to take another running back. But, again, there's just not great options. Chris Thompson would be great, but he's injured. I don't even know if he's going to play till maybe midseason. I don't draft injured players. That's the thing. And why don't we go for the high upside guy? I know he only has a 1-star ranking, but, at this point, we're talking the 12th round of the draft. If he doesn't work out, it's not going to pull any hair out of my head because we've already got 4 other really good running backs, and this guy could emerge. So I'm going to take Jordan Wilkins with our next pick, and I think that'll put us in good position for these final couple of picks. So come on, Martin, make your decision. Let me go. There we go. So I will go ahead and I will take him. And now we are heading into the 13th and 14th round. So I think we only have room for one more player and on the bench, and then we got to take our defense and kicker. So yeah, that is correct. So let's just find who's the best available in the 13th and 14th round. Now, you got Alan Hearns offering the best value, but only a one-star outlook. And quite frankly, I want to go upside. I would much rather have Gallup, the rookie, than Alan Hearns right now. But let's see who else we have. We've got Devontae Booker, who would be a good backup for Royce. We have Royce. Martavis Bryant, he's not having a great camp, but God, the guy just offers so much upside. If he could just get his stuff together, he'd be great. It is a contract year for him. 8 out of 10 consistency, that would be, I'd be happy with that. Let's run some filters. First of all, running backs. Anybody here really interesting? Not really anybody blowing me away here. Wide receivers are obviously the better thing to go. So I think what we're going to do, we're just going to look for best available in this round. The pickings are so slim. Somebody must get forgotten. And if nothing else, I'd be happy to take Martavis Bryant as our last wide receiver. So why don't we just plan to do that? And then as far as defenses go, well, what defense are we going to get? And you will see here that there are plenty of options available. I would love to get the Patriots, frankly. Steelers are good. I don't want anything to do with the Seahawks. Falcons, maybe, but Patriots or Steelers would be great. So let's go ahead and it's 15 picks till our next turn, so I will pause until we're within 3. All right, we're back, so it's just a few picks till our next. Something interesting, we talked about him earlier, Anthony Miller, the rookie out of Chicago. I think he would be a great choice for our final pick if he doesn't get taken here in these next 2 picks. Just looking at who else is available here. Not a lot of great options. Obviously at the end of the draft, that's always what happens. It's very slim pickings. You got Devontae Parker sitting here, but we already got Kenny Stills. I'm okay with that. It's just some hodgepodge. There's Danny Amendola. He might be, well, we already got, again, it's Miami still. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead. We'll take Anthony Miller as our last player. I think that's a great choice. Let's look at our defenses and see who we're going to take. There's Pittsburgh and New England right at the top of the list. So I will queue up New England, and I doubt Martin's going to take 2 defenses. So we'll get at least one of them, and that'll be great. That'll be perfect. And then all we got to do is just take a kicker and see what Yahoo and Fantasy Pros thought of our draft. Quite frankly, I'm pretty happy with this team. I think this is a very nice team, especially considering the draft position we got. We ended up with some really good players, so I'm very confident that this team is going to be rock solid this season. That's what you want. You just want a team that's good enough, that's solid enough, that's going to get you, that can carry you to the playoffs. But when you draft a strong team, it just puts you in an advantage for the rest of the season because you're going to be above so many other people. So come on, Martin, make your decision. 4 seconds to go, and it's probably just going to auto pick something. There we go. Let's go ahead and take New England. And what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and pause. I'm going to take my kicker, and then I'll come back when we get our results from Yahoo. All right, and we're back, and I just got my notice from Yahoo, and they gave this team a B, which is not too bad. And then Fantasy Pros scored me as 4th in this league, which puts me in playoff contention right off the bat. And I'm going to bet that each of these 3 teams that's above me has one of the elite running backs. So I think we drafted extremely well from a difficult draft position. And quite frankly, this is a rock-solid team. I mean, I would be happy to take this team into the season with me. We have Phillip Rivers as our quarterback, Julio Jones, Jamison Crowder, Robert Woods, Robbie Anderson, Kenny Stills, and Anthony Miller as our wide receivers. We have Melvin Gordon, Derrick Henry, Royce Freeman, Marshawn Lynch, and Jordan Wilkins as our running backs. Jack Doyle as our tight end. We got New England as our defense, Mason Crosby as our kicker. So overall, I'm very happy with this team. And, you know, that's what you want. You draft as strong a team as you possibly can from whatever draft position you're in. So I invite you to please go to my website, ffmaverick.com, sign up for a free account. You can log in and access a restricted version of my app, and you can try it out on a couple of mock drafts, see what you think. If you like it, subscribe to it. It is a tool that I created out of my frustration with the whole draft process in finding the right players and going, and like I said, going through round by round. Who are the best running backs? Who are the best wide receivers? Who are the people I need to focus on? And we basically got almost everybody that we wanted. I think we missed out on 3 out of our 15-round draft, so not too bad. I was a little disappointed that those guys went so early, especially Tariq. I really wanted Tariq, but it happens, right? That's just how fantasy football is. So again, please go check it out. Thank you very much. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will hopefully see you soon. So have a great draft season, everybody.